Hey, hey. Welcome back, everyone. Game 2 of the best of 3 between Oats and Linux. Let me actually mark that so you can see that Oats is up 1-0 in the best of 3. But it was very close. It was a very fast seed, and you do expect the runner with execution advantage to generally be favored in these fast seeds, and as it turns out, there aren't a lot of people who there are very few people who Oatsngoats does not have an execution advantage on, but iLunix did play very well, was able to gain a pretty sizable lead in the early game, and then unfortunately the portal checks didn't, or rather the area checks didn't go in iLunix's favor, and then the unfortunate trip to Norfair because of a forgotten boss location ended up sealing the deal for Oats, but both runners actually played very well, and I do expect to see another close race here in Game 2. As we see a rare moment where going left is the answer. Both runners going to be going left right out the gate and rewarded with screw attack and an energy tank. That screw attack opens up the gauntlet location. It looks like iLunix is actually just headed right there. Just got to do these tricky wall jumps. Oats able to get them pretty quickly. iLunix took a couple tries, so unfortunately a little bit behind. We're going to pause iLunix's stream real quick to sync things up. You find a branching path here. iLunix and Oats finding the post-croc farm room leading to, I think the down door was a hazard door, so probably don't want to go down that, but also finding a missile. There's actually a different area up the elevator, and it looks like Oats is not going to bother exploring that just yet. We'll see if iLunix feels the same. We do have a raid from Speedgaming Deutsch. Welcome in. Unfortunately, you do not want to hear my attempt to speak German, so you have to bear with me on that. And we do head to the right for Oats. And it is not a very pleasant room. Finding the East Ocean, which is not crossable yet. That is over towards the direction of the map, it's worth noting, but looks like we'll need to find another way forward. So there is, I don't believe it's in hard logic, there is a way to get to the top left door of post-croc farm. There's a couple different deboosts. You can do a deboost off of the Ripper at the top, and you can also do a deboost off of the bugs by letting them rise up far enough. Looks like Oats gonna go for this Ripper deboost. I haven't seen this setup before, but was able to take damage. There we go. Well done from Oats. We'll see if anything valuable is up here. And not really. Just a reserve tank. I actually did not know about this setup for the Ripper deboost, so it's actually pretty cool. I'm just gonna keep trying it. Unfortunately, killed the Ripper, so iLunix just gonna give up on that after that. And we are headed into Brintstar. Oatsngoats is going to head down through the croc entry door. Looks like iLunix is doing the same. Both going to be rewarded with a space jump, which pretty nice. That is going to put the top of landing site in logic, the top right door. I don't think that's enough to get across East Ocean in logic, but I believe it is possible technically. It requires some very tricky movement, though. As chat pointing out, we still have not seen a morph ball. Oats actually climbed up to the top of the croc entry. Found Crumble Shaft, but unfortunately didn't quite have enough health to make it up, which... a little bit scary, because that could have been an important item, but... we aren't going to be seeing it. iLunix also, with that space jump, is going to be able to check the top left door, so... we'll get the bad news that it is just a reserve tank. But with that little bit of extra exploration from Oats, we do see the race even up just a little bit. That's that is not what you want to see. So it's actually possible to get out of where iLunix was. You can, I believe it only works going right, but you can turn around. I believe you hold angle, turn around, and then let go of angle. It'll actually push you a few pixels to the right, and then if you keep doing that for long enough, eventually you'll be able to make it out of that little crevice. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like iLunix knew about that, so it's going to have to go all the way back for the space jump. So it's a little bit sad. I didn't see if Oats checked the top right door. I assume he did, but looks like he's going back to Brinstar again. No morph ball means you can't go through gauntlets. So we might just be seeing Oats climb up Crumble Shaft. Just check that item there. And if it's nothing, if it's like a missile, then we're just gonna see him reset out of it, but that is not nothing. That is the gravity suit that Oats able to get. Unfortunately, his reserves actually procced during the pause. This energy is a little bit tight. But fortunately, there's a nice room for farming here. Just had to be careful at that first little part to not run into one of the enemies. Those would have done 40 damage and been very lethal, but fortunately, Oats is able to make it through and has this out-of-logic gravity suit. I think it was out of logic. Maybe not. There's not much else. I think 2 tanks is probably enough to get it, actually. Right, and actually Oats did. I remember these rooms that iLunix just went through. I remember Oats doing this, so... unfortunately, the top right of Criteria, although it led to another new area, is just a dead end. Until we find Fantoon, where it can be used to get a couple items. Or the gravity suit, actually. That would let them go to the top door in Oasis. Yeah, that gravity suit is in fact in logic because it's the only place left to go, as it turns out. Oatsngoats able to get that gravity and also able to get the grapple at the end of the Forgotten Highway path. Don't know exactly what that room is called. iLunix also headed back up that way. Chat saying next logical step is East Ocean. I'm kind of surprised that's not where we're going, given that that's where the map is. But there are plenty of other things that you can explore with the gravity suit. It looks like that's actually where Oats is going. I realized that the map was over there and gonna double back. But yeah, Fish Tank is explorable now. The Oasis top door is accessible. So there's definitely a few different things that can be done. Lunix unfortunately took damage in this room. Wants to be full health, headed up to the top. I'm gonna use that grapple beam to deal with these enemies. Fortunately, all the enemies in this area do get one shot by gravity. Or grapple, not gravity, sorry. And unfortunately, once again, we reach a dead end. Everything requires Morph Ball to progress. And that top door was locked by super missiles. So once again, we still don't know the progression. Looks like Oats is going to check out the top of Oasis, as mentioned. I've been calling this room Oasis. I hope that's right. We do find a room that is explorable. Find the main street. There are 2 items here, but neither of them are accessible to our knowledge. One of them requires speed, one of them requires finding the door. And it would require morph anyways, actually. So, not guaranteed we'll actually be able to find anything important here. You can see a missile and bombs. That would be nice. But yeah, can't get to those bombs without Morph Ball, and Morph Ball is still not showing up. So Lunix finds a Dragon. I don't know which way he went for that. Did he keep going up Crumble Shaft, I guess? Okay, that makes sense. Unfortunately, with no morph, can't get to the top of that room. So you may be noticing a pattern here. It looks like what Lunix is doing, actually, is farming up to full health for this Dragon fight, but without enough missiles to break all the... turrets. This is a bit of a scary fight. So unfortunately, I believe Oats may be dead. Was able to get the map station and wreck ship, but didn't look like there was anything else in terms of major items, so... Fish tank potentially the answer? So Lunix is going to attempt this Dragon fight. It is possible. It is definitely possible, but again, without being able to break those turrets, it's a little bit tricky. We are once again Morph Ball locked. You could see in the camera the reaction from Oats. Not happy about it. Right, Lunix has... That's kind of unreal, actually. Where do we go? I guess we have to be up where Lunix is. But yeah, once again, another Morph Ball lock for Oats. And the top left door in Fish Tank is a power bomb door. It looks like. I'm being informed by chat, by the way, that this is an out-of-logic Dragon. But it is possible. It is definitely possible. I'm surprised Lunix isn't going for gravity or for grapples yet. Maybe he's just a little bit too worried about his health. Alright. Dragon is doing a goop cycle on the easy side. Lunix is able to get the quick grapple kill, and first boss is down. I didn't see if there was another major item in this area that Oats can get. I assume Oats came back here for a reason, though, so we'll see what there is. Maybe there was one at the top of Worst Room? Oh, there's actually 2. Interesting. Lunix continues exploring behind Dragon, finds the Phantoon save, confirms that Phantoon is at the top right of Meridia Crab room. Still looking for Morph Ball. It could be up here where Oats is, which would be a pretty big deal for Oats, actually. Although, we'll see if he decides to... we'll see where he decides to go after that. It may not be up to where Lunix is. Lunix, meanwhile, attempting to not take damage from these blue hoppers. And there it is. Morph Ball at the top of worst room in the game. Up, wrecked ship. So... good news for Oats. He even gets another, at least one more major first troubles here at the back of Gauntlet. Just a Spazer Beam, but not the end of the world. More importantly, got that Morph Ball, and I believe we'll be able to get those bombs as well. It's also worth noting that without Morph Ball, Oats wouldn't actually be able to get back down, which is kind of funny. But yeah, unfortunately for Lunix, has found out that there is nothing else accessible back here behind Dragon, so we'll have to go to one of the other gravity-locked areas to find the progression. There's an item there. I don't know why Lunix is scared here. Just doesn't want to do the... oh wait, it's because he can't actually get out of that room. That's why. Oats with a nice little turnaround jump. To get to the bombs. Could have also done a gravity jump by turning off... or not a gravity jump. Could have turned off gravity and made it through. Either way. He exits the wrecked ship with the bombs in tow. The Morph Ball as well. And I believe there's nothing else here, so... that is the last we will see of the ship from Oats and Goats. Potentially. Let me get this major first. I missed this. It is a pretty important one too. Plasma Beam. Nice firepower upgrade. We'll see if the charge beam shows up or not. Lunix, meanwhile, still exploring Brinstar, but no Morph Ball, no ammo other than missiles. Kind of just running into dead end after dead end, unfortunately. I don't know if Lunix saved, but they are going to check the Spore Spawn Super item. Potentially. Might just be farming up missiles as well. Yeah, not going to do that without a save, it seems. It looks like Lunix might have just needed more missiles to break open a pink door. Anyways, Oats finally is able to get the criteria map with those bombs and missiles, or Morph Ball rather. There's not a lot here. There is one major all the way on the far right side. Of course, my internet lagged a bit. I didn't see if there's anything on the far left. But given that's the direction Oats is headed, it looks like that might be the case. Anyways, whatever iLunix found, it was not something he wanted to do, so finally, iLunix is going to be headed out of Brinstar, back down to Criteria. We'll likely find all of the walls that Oats did, and then eventually make his way to the Morph Ball, all the way at the top of Wreck Ship. And we find a super door. Yeah, Oats actually went straight back to Brinstar, funny enough. We'll see if Oats goes to the same places that iLunix just was. Unfortunately, going to be taking a lot of damage from that acid. Fortunately, there is a nice room to farm. Or at least an okay room to farm. Obviously, there's this 40 health here from these cacks, and then there's the Forgotten Highway, as mentioned. Most of those enemies are fairly good at dropping big health. I say as we see 2 small health drops. iLunix has made his way back to the ship. Oats is headed back to do all the exploration we just saw iLunix do. He'll be able to actually fight the Phantoon, although it's not the most comfortable fight ever with 10 missiles, no supers. We are still looking for power bombs and super missiles, actually. 20 minutes in, we are lacking in both major types of ammo. Excuse me. Also not super comfortable on health. Also not super comfortable on anything else, really. Space Jump Screw Attack is nice at least, but that's basically all the positives this seed has given us so far. You see Oats entering his Phantoon that we knew this was here. We'll be the first one to actually be able to fight Phantoon. Unfortunately, iLunix wasn't actually able to make it to Phantoon without that Morph Ball. Nice first round, got 10 missiles in. Actually menued for the super, but unfortunately didn't have one. But this should be a nice 3-round. Really well played by Oats here. Of course, Phantoon gives him a 3rd round slow because it's Phantoon. This is what it does. So iLunix finds his worst room in the game, which, by the way, of all the things we've talked about in this seed, haven't really been kind of glossing over the fact that the seed requires you to climb worst room in the game, Space Jump Screw Attack 1+1, because up here is where the goods are. Yeah, iLunix's gonna find this map, find out there's 2 more items above him. It's gonna be pretty tricky to make it to the top of Worst Room with this little health. Is able to kill the pirate and gets a big health drop. Just makes it. Well done from iLunix. Actually saves a bit of time. I believe Oats took a death there and had to climb back up. So there's a slight advantage. As Oats also going to be fighting Dragon while he's over here. I didn't see what was on the map, but chat telling me there were a bunch of hollow dots behind Dragon. I assume in the spots that iLunix couldn't get to, unfortunately. Either way, we see a nice grapple kill. iLunix making it to the morph ball. Gonna run into that missile door, unfortunately. Gonna need to go back and farm the Rippers some more for missiles. See if Oats takes another look at the map here so I can look a little bit closer at what we've got to offer. Unfortunately, iLunix is in health bomb range, so having a little bit of difficulty getting enough missiles. Oats with the save is going to be going over to check the Wasteland item. Get this hollow dot. It is an E-tank, which is not helpful, but at least gets him out. And it's good enough that you want to keep it, so Oats not going to reset. And that's actually all that's over here. That's all he can access in terms of hollow dots. Didn't look like there were any other major bosses or items in this location either. So Oats is headed out. Meanwhile, iLunix has made his way out with the morph ball. Gonna be taking the save, probably getting those bombs and that plasma beam soon as well. We'll see if he actually wants to go straight back to Fantoon or not. I wouldn't blame him either way. I assume he goes to the criteria map first, but kind of a weird situation for iLunix, given that there isn't a whole lot in Brimstar other than Fantoon, so going there kind of sucks, but it also gets the boss out of the way that is kind of awkward to get back to. Oats leaves Brimstar for the last time. His last time, at least. There's a lot of missiles over there, but not a lot of anything else. Guess we could be headed to Meridia. With that morph ball and bombs, Oats is able to actually do things in Big Pink now, and there are 3 items there, so good chance that one of them is ammo that Oats is so desperately craving. iLunix also headed out of Wrecked Ship, which he will not be going back to. Just gonna get this plasma beam first, over here at the bowling missile. We still don't see any power bombs or super missiles. Big Pink having 2 missiles and a reserve tank. So the hunt continues. We are 29 minutes in. Things are not getting better. Fortunately, there's a lot of doors that Oats can access even without supers or power bombs. We find a charge beam. That's good. It's very good, actually, but still not what we're looking for. And wave beam. So, ditto to that. Once again, nice item. Not what we want at the moment. It looks like iLunix is actually headed back up to Brintstar, gonna be fighting that Fantoon and finding out the bad news that there's not really anything else there. Meanwhile, Oats, I believe we know that that door is amphitheater, or whatever the big lower Norfair room is. I don't remember names very well. I will not lie to you. iLunix might be dead here. Unfortunately, I believe he fell down Crumble Shaft and wasn't able to get back up in time, so we'll have to go back there. So we find another E-Tank. The ammo still eludes us. We find Frog Speedway, which is technically accessible, though it is out of logic, and there's not a guaranteed way to get back. So that leaves the last door here in Big Pink. This top right room normally goes up to Spore Spawn. Let's see where it goes. It doesn't go very far. Just another missile. And I'll be honest, I don't know what else is available. Oh, we actually do know. That's, not Crumble Shaft. Or not Amphitheater. That's actually just going down to, Ice entrance. Which, again, it's not something that Oats can get back out of without super missiles or power bombs, but at this point, there's so little to be done, and so... Like, I wouldn't have been surprised if Oats went back for it, even though it's technically out of logic without a way back. iLunix has made his way back to Fantoon. Gonna see some contemplation for Oats. There's really only one thing left, and it's double chamber. There's a major all the way to the left, or all the way to the right. And on the way, double chamber has a hollow dot that could be our first super or our first power bomb. We'll have to see which one. It could be neither. That is still possible. Actually, I don't know if it is. So the easiest way to get there is... looked like going down Key Hunter Shaft, or Three Musketeers, rather. Unfortunately, it is a sealed door. Is that breakable? Is this an openable door? Yes, it is missile door. Okay. Of course, these Key Hunters will deal a nice 100 damage, but with that screw attack, Oats able to make it through just fine. Speaking of making it through just fine, iLunix is able to defeat Fantoon and get this map, find out the bad news that there's really not much over here, but at least he's got the boss out of the way. I guess you could, I don't think Oats went all the way through Gauntlet, as Oats finally finds a useful hollow dot, getting that super missile. I can't say that because the E-Tanks were useful, but finally finds ammo is a better way to phrase it. And we'll see if that's where Lunix is headed, over to Green Hill. Now with access to get through Gauntlet. Oats finally makes it to the major all the way here on the right side of Criteria. Finds the high jump boots. It's a little bit awkward to get back. I think you probably want to go down the bottom left of Double Chamber and then down Mickey Mouse. We'll see what Oats decides to do. Could also just take Baby Skip, but unfortunately, if he misses the Baby Skip, he can't actually enter the next room because it's a heated room. And without Speed Booster, the Baby Skip is a little bit tricky. Looks like Oats is headed the way I suspected. Meanwhile, Lunix headed to Meridia, actually, so going to be doing some things that we saw Oats do. Unfortunately, as we know, there isn't much to do other than some things that could potentially soft lock us. But at least going to get a bunch of missiles and potentially charge wave, most likely. Which does take a hit from one of the big side hoppers here, but is able to make it through just fine. With 3+2, it's not too scary. And with those super missiles, we have some things in logic. For example, we can actually go over to this room that Lunix is in, the ice entry. We can access it the intended way by backdooring Spore Spawn, which I believe is in hard logic. It is an off-screen shot, which I think hard logic is sometimes a little inconsistent with stuff like that. That might actually be out of logic. So it's looking at Brinstar, there are the couple hollow dots down Gauntlet. If he wants to go over to like Green Hill Zone and then up the elevator to the fun land over there. I didn't see exactly what sequence of rooms that was. Nest chat pointing out, Oats did have 200 health and reserves. The baby would not have taken them, so with 200 health and Screw Attack, probably was possible for Oats to make it back through Three Musketeers, but definitely wouldn't have been comfortable. Looks like Oats is headed to... Looks like he's headed to Ice Entry, as I pointed out. So we'll see if that is the answer. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Lunix try to break it out of logic, but it doesn't look like it. At least gonna check out the rest of this area first. Actually, with a way out, it doesn't even matter if backdooring Spore Spawn is in hard logic. You can just go through this way, and then the super missiles actually get you out. So it's just checking out the room, making sure there's no gravity suit or any other kind of item room over here. But now we are headed to somewhere. Potentially this is progression. It's still possible that power bombs are in Green Hill, I believe. We'll also see what Lunix decides to do, as I believe that is everything that Lunix has explored. Unfortunately, if he does decide to break logic and go down the path across Ice Entry, he will run into a super door, which we just saw Oats do. But with those supers, Oats is finally 38 minutes and 35 seconds able to get those power bombs. So we are finally out of the early game, I would say. Oats also finding the map station of the area. And finds another major. There's Turian and Norfair, and a lot of hollow dots, but with Charged Plasma Wave and all of the ammo, hollow dots are not super valuable. At least not valuable enough to be going out of your way. You're going to see Oats check this nice little Brimstone Reserve, get the 3 items here. Unfortunately, 2 of them are missiles, but we do find a super at the back, which is quite nice. But yeah, really just looking for that Varia suit more than anything else. Looks like we are... Oats isn't going back up for the major at I didn't see what room it was, I just saw there was a major above him. It's actually just going to be picking up all the hollow dots that are immediately connected to this room, so... Maybe I'm underrating how valuable they are, but Oats definitely getting a nice payout. The second Powerbomb pack and 2 more supers. With this much ammo, I believe you still need to kill the Zebs and refill? Question mark? I don't think this is quite enough. No, it should be, actually. This is technically enough to beat Mother Brain 1 and kill all the Zebs. Looks like Oats took that save, as chat pointed out. Gonna take the save and then check the major. If the major's like an X-ray or a spring ball, maybe resets it, but I don't know if you even want to reset those, to be honest. I guess X-ray is the only item you'd reset because you've already killed the 2 X-rayable bosses, but like you don't reset ice, you don't reset speed, you obviously don't reset Varia, which is what he finds there, so Oats in go mode. The only questionable one is Spring Ball, but even then I don't think you reset Spring Ball in this position. Just because there's a lot of rooms that Spring Ball makes nicer to traverse, especially without speed. Is now Oats headed down to Turian, it looks like. It's a little awkward to get here. Has to go back down to the save. And then... Or also can actually go down this elevator. That works too. There's a couple more hollow dots if Oats still wants to pick up like a couple more E-tanks or something. Potentially get more ammo. There's one here at the Edikuni tank, and then one more at the next room. Potentially 2 more, because I believe that was Norfair Reserve. Finds another super, and that's enough. Oats decides he's got plenty. Not going to bother with anything else. Meanwhile, iLunix has also found those super missiles. Was able to make it to high jump and the double chamber super. So we'll see where he decides to go. Might also do the same thing as Oats, which is correct, but it is a bit unfortunate that iLunix is kind of just following in Oats' footsteps at this point. I think Oats also had another E-tank over iLunix, where he is right now. I believe it was from Wasteland. So a little bit scarier in these heated rooms, but iLunix is able to make it out. We are still looking for Kraid, Ridley, and Motherbrain. It is worth mentioning. I believe they're all in either this area or Norfair, if I'm not mistaken, because we've seen all the maps. And they aren't here, that's for sure. But there is an easily accessible portal to Norfair, so looks like I would expect we see Oats go there. Maybe checking some of the majors, like the one in the sandpit, to see if you can get Speed Booster. We don't know yet if Speed Booster is required. Could technically go for some of the other majors, but they're pretty far away, and I may be inclined to skip them until knowing for sure that they're required. But I wouldn't hate the sandpit check here, if that's what Oats decides to do. Looks like it is not, though. He's just going to head up to Norfair. Goes up the tube. Up to Bubble Mountain. The map is over here on the left. Looks like the top left was the closest. And we are at a big room. I would actually expect Oats to turn back here. And I'm surprised he's checking this door, but I suppose this could be Crater Ridley. It's actually just a different area. This is just the way back to Meridia. But yeah, Oats wants that map, so he's actually going to double back for now and go down and get it, I would expect. Or not. I lied, apparently. But I think it's going to get dead-ended here. We know this isn't Fantoon, because we've already seen it. Unix, meanwhile, has picked up his powerbomb, getting close to the Meridian map. Oats finds another powerbomb, kind of just looking for a fourth E-tank, it looks like. There's the speed booster. Nice, nice and on path. No need to worry. No need for any silly checks. Looks like Oats is just leaving? This feels wrong. I really feel like you just want to be going to that map. I don't know why we aren't doing that here. And now it's actually kind of awkward to get back up. I think this leads back to the bottom of Bubble Mountain, though. I think? Yeah, okay. And then this will lead to the map. There we go. We got there eventually, guys. We got there eventually. I wouldn't be surprised to see 3 bosses here. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. And it is speed required, so it's a good thing that Oats was able to pick that up. Gonna need to go down to pay the Decora visit, go through Crade, get all the way over to Ridley, and then keep going to the left for Mother Brain. Nice little boss rush we got to end out this seed, which, given how it started, is kind of shocking that we're probably looking at a sub-hour, actually, depending on how fast the rest of this goes. Oats going for the Moonfall down Decora Pit, but not quite getting it. It is very difficult, so no shame in missing that. Nice Nevdi jump. Up Pre-Cathedral. And yeah, to reiterate what Chad is saying, this is a best of 3. Oats won game 1, and while it certainly isn't over, is in a pretty commanding position here in game 2. So, all the Oatsngoats fans in chat, things are definitely looking up, but for the Lunix fans, things are not over, even if Lunix takes the loss here. This is a double elimination tournament, and this is the winner's bracket, so if this lead holds for Oats and iLunix loses game 2, he will still have at least one more best of 3 in the lower bracket. No matter what, we will see more of these runners in this tournament, so don't think it's over yet for either one. Meanwhile, Oats has made it to the Ridley fight. Nice and fast with Charge Wave Plasma. This is a 24-shot fight, specifically. One of the weirder numbers. Also going to use a few supers, which I probably wouldn't have done because you want those to break the Zebs, but should be fine. Smile. Also gets another E-Tank on the way to Mother Brain, so if it wasn't before, we are definitely nice and safe now. And actually, it looks like there's enough of a runaway, so Oats can do a speed Zeb skip, so should be fine. Question mark? I don't remember exactly how this spot on the map connects. I would not say this is enough of a runaway. We may see Oats have to double back and farm a little bit. There is a hollow dot right below him. If that's a super missile, then it's nice and easy. If not, then it's going to get a little bit awkward. And given that we haven't seen very many E-Tanks and we've seen a lot of hollow dots, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a tank up here. There's a nice super drop, though. And there is the E-Tank, as predicted. So we'll have to do a little bit of farming. We could see Oats kill a couple of the Zebs and then come back and refill. The enemies in Parlor here do drop missiles fairly consistently, so killing a couple Zebs and then coming back to farm would be enough. This is also borderline enough ammo. I think it actually is enough ammo. If you use 2 missiles, 3 supers, and all the Zebs, that leaves you with... it leaves you with basically exactly enough, and maybe you don't want to leave that up to chance. That's a little bit too close for comfort. Actually, this is just enough anyways. Using a couple supers, Oats is going to refill missiles, though, just to be safe. He's going to get a couple missiles just to seal it. Had enough before going back to farm, but now this is definitely enough. Now this would be enough even if supers didn't do double damage, to be exact. And there we go. A little bit of shambles, but Mother Brain 1 has been completed with a very powerful beam, excuse me, and the high jump and plenty of energy. This should be a very free Mother Brain 2. iLunix, meanwhile, is also on the way, entering the boss rush. Also going to get this E-Tank here, which is actually important since iLunix didn't have 3. Would have been fine with the reserves, but still does not hurt to have a couple more E-Tanks. Actually takes a pretty nice route to Ridley. I didn't see this. But gonna have to backtrack for Crate, I believe. That's a pretty long backtrack for Crate if Lunix hasn't done that yet. I actually wonder if it would have been faster to kill Crate and then go back up and then take that path to Ridley. Probably not, but it's definitely interesting. Probably would have came out fairly close. Either way, Lunix has finished off his Ridley fight, as Oats is beginning the escape. It's not too bad, just have to go back to... Oats has to make his way back into the big pink room and then go to the top left. That will lead him back to Criteria, lead him back to Fish Tank specifically, and then Fish Tank is pretty close to the ship. So it really just involves trekking all the way back through Norfair, which... if he takes the Ridley path, it is a little bit faster. It looks like he is. I think this will come out a bit faster. It's hard to say in situations like this. That is some of the fun of Map Rando. We don't know exactly how the sequence of rooms lined up time-wise. I think that's why a lot of people enjoy it. Also, shoutouts to the Springwell strats we saw across the ocean. I didn't point it out immediately, but they were sick. Oats might be going the wrong way. Yep, there it is. Whoops. It's alright, we're recovering. It's fine. The rest of Escape is short. He's got plenty of time still. Don't worry. As Lunix has made the backtrack all the way back to Crade. Finishes off with 2 charge shots. Also gonna do a nice spark here across the X-ray grapple room. Oats has made his way back to Criteria, up through that big pink. It's a really awkward room to climb, as you saw. A lot of weirdly shaped geometry, and the gaps between the platforms are kind of awkward to traverse through. But he's able to make it, makes it all the way back to the ship, and finishes with an official race time of 57 minutes and 32 seconds, winning the best of 3 against Lunix 2-0 and moving on to round 3 of the winners brackets. GG, Oatsngoats. Looks like we've got both runners in the Discord for interviews. Those will be coming up shortly, potentially. But yeah, fun series. Definitely a lot of 2 very different seeds, although both did end up being sub-hour at least. The second one was a real bad early game with the super missiles and power bombs being very hidden, but let up a little bit at the end. All the bosses were concentrated into 2 areas, so it was a fairly fast end sequence. As Lunix also entering Mother Brain. Also probably going to need to refill here. It looks like he's saving 3 supers, going to use the minimum 18 and 3 on Mother Brain. Just needs to go back and farm up those missiles. Great, this should be enough for iLunix. 25 and 3 is plenty to spare. 29 and 3 is even more.
Hello.
We are joined by victorious Oatsngoats. GG's. Congrats on the win. How you feeling after two very different seeds?
Yeah, pretty good. The first seed was a pretty quick one. I know I kind of made some funny routing mistakes at the beginning. I was trying to take some risks, but it was a really stupid route. But anyways, it was a fast seed. And then obviously in contrast with this seed, this seed was weird. I just kept going back and forth from the ship to, what was it, wrecked ship, and then back to was it Brinstar?
Yeah, Brinstar was where the two bosses were, and where you got gravity at the beginning.
Yeah, it was just weird. I didn't know what the logic wanted, but eventually figured it out. What was it, power bombs at 38 minutes? I'm sure iLunix had a similar situation.
Yeah, we are joined by iLunix as well. GG's.
GG's. Hello.
Hello, good games.
Yeah, so the game one was actually pretty interesting. I think iLunix was able to get those bombs a lot earlier than Oats did. Oats actually left before checking the major at West Ocean, I believe, and had to actually go back for the bombs. So I guess if I could get y'all's thoughts on that one in particular, that decision.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, because once you play 2, it kind of gets a little weird. Yeah, the first one, like I said, I had some weird. You're talking the first game?
Yeah, the game 1.
Yeah, I had some bizarre routing problems. I'm trying to boot up the map right now, if I have a second, because I'm very curious to see what the heck happened. Okay, I have it open. Where did we go at the start? In West Ocean.
Yeah, it was I don't remember exactly how the beginning sequence played out. I do remember it was actually pretty interesting. Things got really close because you actually went down to wreck ship first and got that charge beam, whereas iLunix went over to Meridia, found the Mother Brain, and the two majors there were not super helpful. And so that actually evened things up. It was really close before the unfortunate moment where iLunix forgot where Dragon was and went down to Norfair.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's terrible. That probably would have panned out a lot different. Yeah, obviously, Dragon being right in Criteria there, and then it was grapple locked. So yeah, I decided to just do that later and then hope that Meridia had connections. So that's why I went down to Brinstar, since I had to come back for Dragon at some point anyways. And then obviously that's just an oversight from iLunix. So that's super unfortunate that he overlooked Dragon right there, because that would have been fairly close. Yeah,
we weren't sure who was ahead in that situation, but unfortunately after that it kind of opened up in your favor.
Yeah,
then
wrecked ship, I decided that Norfair was a little too far out of the way, so I took that risk and just went back up to where I had to go anyways, which was back to Dragon. And then if it had, if nothing was in Meridia, then I knew Norfair had the rest of the bosses. So.
Yeah, I was a little surprised you didn't go to Norfair initially, although I think with how the map laid out, just isolating Norfair and hoping that it wasn't required may have been correct. It's like it is pretty out of the way.
Yeah, it's directly on the bottom, so it's either Norfair at the very bottom of the map, which is, I know there's no connections at that point, and same with Meridia, because I believe we already found everything. So it was a coin toss between Norfair having a boss, or Mother Brain, or both, or Meridia. So yeah, I just took that risk. And, yeah, game 2 was
a lot of things happened in that game.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that because I felt like I was just making every wrong decision. Like everything I did, I felt like it was wrong. But clearly, we both had some serious issues with that seed. So
yeah, I'm also kind of struggling to remember everything that happened. If I remember correctly, iLunix got to Gravity first, but then kind of did everything possible before going back into Brinstar. So you actually got a little bit ahead of him there.
Yeah, it was. That was just a weird scene. Like I said, I don't know. Did we collect power bombs around the same time, or I don't even know if that was logical power bombs on
I think by that time you were pretty comfortably ahead.
Okay.
I know iLunix fought Dragon before getting morphed, so had to go all the way back to Brinstar after getting morphed to fight Fantoon. So that was another backtrack that separated things, and all of that was before getting supers or power bombs.
Yeah, that would definitely separate it up. Yeah. But yeah, it was good games, a lot of fun, and yeah, looking forward to the next one. I think it's between MM2 or Aussie whenever they play.
Yeah, whenever MM2 gets back from Sweden, I believe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'll be very exciting to watch, and yeah, that'll be a tough match, whoever it is. So,
Fortunately, it looks like iLunix had to step away from the interview. I'm also being told by chat I had to compliment your escape in the second race.
oh yeah, wonderful. I was definitely very spatially aware there. I was trying to do it without looking at the map, and clearly a mistake. I should have looked at least once, but yeah, I had some cool strats, anyways. Some cool spring ball.
I did like the
so.
spring ball across the ocean. That was sick.
Thank you. All right, well, yeah, thanks for commentating and doing what you do, and yeah, I look forward to the next match, and good luck to the rest of the runners. So, all right, thank you. Bye.
Yeah, no problem. That should do it for us, pretty much. So, shout outs to our lovely runners, Oatsngoats and iLunix. Of course, as mentioned, both are still alive in the tournament. iLunix will be playing in the losers bracket. I don't know if it's really decided yet where that will be. Yeah, also shout outs to our tracker. I don't remember what name they signed up with. Luna Minar in the Discord. And I believe we have more races coming up on other Speedgaming channels as well. If I can pull those up. I've got like 20 tabs open because I keep opening the wrong ones. I'm really good at this, I swear. But you have at 7 p.m. a full best of 3 Bressingham versus Nitro. Not sure if that'll be on restream yet. We do know that at 8 p.m. we will see Game 2 of Solsky versus Zeb right here on Speedgaming Main. Aussie on comms, hockey on tracking. Should be a good time. And then, of course, we got plenty more races coming on through the weekend. This is still early on in the tournament. I don't think anybody, or very few people, have been eliminated yet. There's still a lot of races happening. And we'll have to stay tuned to catch them all. So, till then, we will see you next mission.